Hello, my lovely knitters. I'm back on my sofa, just for now. Today we're stepping back in time to the fascinating world of Tudor England. As many of you know, I adore combining history with creativity, and my latest project is something truly special. I've just completed my debut historical novel, The Queen of the Isles, and I can't wait to share it with you. It's a gripping story set in the shadow of Queen Elizabeth I's reign, full of intrigue, courage, and the strength of a remarkable woman. But what does that have to do with knitting, you might say? Well, the history and themes of Queen of the Isles are inspired by this. A Tudor style chemise, perfect for keeping warm while you dive into a good book. The Tudor chemise was my muse for this pattern. The lacework here represents the layers of the story, from hidden secrets to the strength of the heroine. And this deep, soft, cozy wool, inspired by the endurance of the characters in the Queen of the Isles. Its beautiful softness is from the natural yarn of the cashmere goat, resident here on the Orkney Isles. The lace spun from the North Ronaldsay sheep. I've already shared this pattern with you in my previous videos. The link is up here because it is based on the Tresness Summer Tea, which can be adapted onto larger needles and thicker yarn. Now, with regards to my historical novel, and for those who can't wait, the book will be available on ebook on Kindle on the 1st of February, all being well. And I'm working on an Audible version too, for anyone who loves to knit and listen at the same time. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever knit something inspired by a favourite book? Or maybe a period in history that fascinates you? Drop me a comment below. I'd love to see your creations. And if you have creations, maybe you will pop them in my Instagram account. The link is here so that you can see where I am, and also I'll put it in the description below. And if you're curious about the Queen of the Isles, I've added a link to my new Instagram account called Griselda Publishing UK. And the description will be where the link is for that. Set against the backdrop of a divided kingdom, the Queen of the Isles follows the intertwined lives of those guarding a centuries-old secret, the Philadelphia Ring. From the courts of Zenobia to the mists of the Orkney Isles, the story weaves a tale of resilience, faith and betrayal. Hepzibah Rutledge, a scholar caught between worlds, uncovers a legacy that challenges her understanding of identity and truth. As the mystery unveils, ancient hieroglyphs and scripture reveal a connection to the freedom of worship and the power of justice. Will Hepzibah embrace her role as the keeper of the past, or will the weight of history prove too great to bear? So this is the best I can do with the lighting today. It's still winter here in the Orkneys, so the light is not very good. But anyway, this is the adaptation of the Tresness Summer Tea. What I've done with this is I played around with the tension and did the stitching on a 10mm needle, and used probably about 2 strands, and that was 1 strand of the North Ronaldsay 2-ply and 1 strand of possibly more of a double knit in the yarn that I used. So that sort of give it more of an Aran weight. And so this is now very light, so it's not heavy, it's very light. You can see there are just a few lace patterns. I kept it quite plain, so plain all the way down. I followed the pattern almost, but because I'm using bigger needles, I had to change the tension. So what I kind of did was divided the stitching by 2. I used my own size, like the size 5, and I divided the stitching in 2. Because basically on the pattern you'd use a 4.5mm needle. So that's how I did that. I made this lovely little tie. A lovely one of my viewers sent me the little machine to make these little I would have called them French knitting. We used to do them on think about it in a minute, cotton reels, that sort of thing. So yeah, so I made those, that to go with it, and threaded it through the first increase row on the pattern. On the bottom it actually naturally became this wide, so on the bottom I crocheted a little edging instead of doing the zigzag edging that I'd done on that pattern on the Tresness Hubberty. I just picked up along the edge, cast off, picked up along the edge with my crochet hook and made this little lace frill. Didn't do much to that. I just added a few lines in a smaller needle and turned it over. Now this little blanket was made in this beautiful natural wool, the North Ronaldsay yarn, with a very slightly lighter edging, crocheted edging again. And this was because this particular yarn was a mixed yarn, mixed from all the shades of the sheep. So as you can see, the top bleeds into the bottom, because in the top they're all the same colour, but in the bottom I've done 1 thread of the cream, which is that bit there, so it makes it lighter. I would imagine in the old days that's probably what they would have done anyway. So this beautiful crocheted blanket is one of my own designs, so that might become a pattern at some stage. I have a beautiful blue one like that. Just a minute. Yes, it was based on this design, another crochet stole that I did. It looks quite complex, but it certainly isn't. It's quite easy to do. So that might be a pattern I could do this year. Some nice sort of stoles and little shawls. I made a little collar to go around there. So if you've got something high necked, you could crochet a little collar have a little button on there. It stretches quite nicely. You could make it stretch even more, or you could put a little bit of ribbon in there, yeah, and tie it loosely like so with a piece of ribbon. I was at the which one was it? When I was at the country fair, that's what it was, in Kirkwall, I bought some Aran weight yarns from North Ronaldsay, and all in the different colours of the sheep. So I decided to do a patchwork, and that's how it turned out. So it became a triangle. Now on the back you can see some of where it was stitched together, but on the whole I picked up the sides and along the top. But there you go, that's another shawl. Now in the same yarns I created this little hat. I'm going to try and put it on, which will go like that. Okay, and you'd have a button just there, or a press just at that point there. So that sort of has it was based on a 50s ski hat, but this will fit in quite well, as you can see, with a Tudory, historically styled hat bonnet of the time. Just pop that on there. I think in the last video I showed you this. As I say, it's part of this whole collection, and it had this beautiful gold colour. This was hand dyed in Orkney, and the yarn is actually again part of this North Ronaldsay yarn weight. So let's take some of these off. Okay, so to cut across both collections, I had this. If you look at my previous video, you would have seen me describe this one. So let's put a little, there you go. So you can cut across both collections with these colours, the natural colours, the beautiful chemise. You could put on your waistcoat with the beautiful colour of the trim, and of course the beautiful soft yarns of the waistcoat, and top off with a, I'll turn that way, I think, with a contrasting shawl. It's just mixing and matching, using hand-dyed yarns to create different shapes and different styles, and these are all really based on very simple ideas. So if you'd like me to make a few patterns of this collection, would you like to comment below, please, because that will help me decide whether I could write a book to include these patterns. and how simple they are, and do a simple basic pattern that you can alter to suit what you want to make, i.e. from the chemise to this lovely waistcoat to, well, that's a Sophie scarf, but we could do something similar, couldn't we? And to a nice shawl, this shawl, and the crocheted shawl, and the little hat. So yeah, please comment in below and let me know what are your favourites. Which ones would you like to see a pattern for? And then that will encourage me to do that. And as you know, I'm in the middle of writing, doing some historical writing, and my first book should be published 1st of February, that's Saturday. So look out for the announcement on Saturday the 1st of February. I'm hoping it will all go well and that it goes through the processing that it has to, and so it should be ready. And I am talking to you here today on Friday, so that's, for me, that's tomorrow. So when this video, I hope, will be up for you to look at. So I'm sorry I've been away for such a long time, but that's only because I've been very busy, as you must have realised. I've also been poorly. I had about 3 weeks with this chest infection that's been going around, so that's kind of slowed me down quite a bit. But yeah, so that's where we are now. So until next time, happy knitting, or as I always say, keep knitting and keep reading.